Mac Football Forever. I'm Alex Alvarado. Buffalo 42, Miami 10. It was a much needed win for whoever was going to come out on top. I didn't expect the margin of victory to be decided by 32. Wow. Oh my goodness. Where do we even begin? Where should we even begin? Well, let's start with the beginning. Miami, they started with the ball first, and their quarterback, Brett Gabbert, was in street clothes. He didn't dress for the game. Remember last week against Ball State? That hit that he took bled into this week, so he wasn't able to dress. So in steps in AJ Mayer. AJ Mayer, I thought he was going to do a fine job because why not? He did a fine job against Ball State, and I'm in the mood for optimism. And unfortunately, things just didn't go well between him and, well, the rest of his receivers. He was 7 of 25 for the day. 7 of 25. Not great. Nothing you want to brag about for your first full day. If you go back and check the film, you'll see a bunch of drop passes. I stopped counting drop passes at 6. And Miami's already in a struggling place. It's already not an offense that, is poised and experienced enough to score 30 points with serious repetition. That was one of the question marks I put on them. They put up 38 against Ball State. That's crazy. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Is that something they can keep up with or not? Let's see moving forward. Obviously, in the week where it probably mattered the most, they didn't. And, was there was just individual failures that led to a huge team failure. That's all it really boils down to. That's why it's a team game. Buffalo, they put in a very, very good complete effort. They made strong second half adjustments and they made strides where they absolutely needed to. And then, a little bit of positivity went their way. They realized that, hey, we're not the ones that's stressed out. Let's just play our game. Let's make them play some catch up. And that's exactly what happened. Miami started, throwing balls even deeper. I mean, AJ Mayer was throwing deep balls all game. That was kind of the game plan. But it just felt like at some point he was like trying to score 29 points in one throw. And unfortunately, you can only do so much. And if Miami was going to keep doing the same thing over and over that failed them from the start, that just meant that Miami had nothing else going for them. And now Miami has to go back home, reevaluate, and think about what should the new expectations of this Miami offense be going forward if it's going to somehow rebound its way into a MAC title game. It's going to be hard now. It almost feels impossible. You have to rely on Buffalo to lose to who? Who does Buffalo have to lose to the rest of the way? Kent State, Akron, Bowling Green, Ohio. Do you like those odds? It's not easy to be in. So Miami didn't have anything going for themselves offensively. Meanwhile, Buffalo at home, they had everything going for themselves. They had some milestone days. Jarrett Patterson, he reached 3,000 career yards rushing, quickest player in Buffalo history to do so. So, we all knew that was going to happen. Congrats to him. And also Kevin Marks, he reached 2,000, which is awesome. Kevin Marks, he really, really drove the truck. He had a lot of chunk plays, a lot of hard-earned yards up the middle, lowered his shoulder a few times. Love when he has a big day. But for the game itself, Kevin Marks and Jarrett Patterson had 109 and 73 rushing yards, respectively. No negative plays, which is great for them. Buffalo as a whole, Kyle Van Treese, he is not a spectacular athlete out there, but he is definitely my favorite definition of work smart, not hard sort of deal. Well, he had a great idea of what he wanted to do with the ball. He loves throwing towards Antonio Nunn's way. That's why he finished with 5 catches for 137 yards. So he loves that connection. He trusts his running backs too. He was able to throw the ball around quite a bit. Zach LaFave, he had a pretty good day with 4 catches. A few of them he had to go up and twist his body to make an acrobatic catch. Giovanni Ruiz, he was another guy that had a big day for Buffalo. Not huge in the box score, 3 catches, 27 yards, had a touchdown. But he had a couple nice looking catches that, Giovanni Ruiz isn't a guy that I really had too much on my radar going into the year, and he had a couple catches that really caught my attention. So, congrats to him for his contributions to this win. Honestly, Buffalo just looked really relaxed out there. Once, once it just looked like Miami couldn't couldn't run a functional offense for the game, and when it just looked like Miami was ready to pack it in and go home, that is pretty much when it kind of looked like Buffalo felt it too, where Buffalo knew that, it's getting good production out of its running backs. The Buffalo running backs finished the day with 4.8 yards per attempt, which is pretty close to Miami. But the thing is that Buffalo also outgained them by 60 yards, 200 plus on 43 carries. Buffalo really controlled the clock. Buffalo really controlled the tempo of the game. Miami's defense is known to be good, but again, Buffalo, in the face of that, had no negative rushing plays and just trucked forward. I think Kevin Marks, I think his individual average was closer to 6. 6.8 for him. So, game ball for you. A team like Buffalo, they're so talented at running back where if they don't have to pass the ball, they won't. But they just found enough big plays in the passing game. They almost had more too, but Kyle Van Treese, he found Trevor Wilson, he found Antonio Nunn a few times. They connected deep for 70 and 80-yard passes, so that was good to see. They're going to catch big breaks like that. That just happens. But what shouldn't happen is that those big breaks happened with a lot of frequency against the Miami defense, and that's a little bit concerning moving forward. That was a lot of open space that those receivers found themselves in. Kyle Van Treese didn't have to make the tight window throws. He didn't have to make those sharpshooting throws like that. He didn't have to do that. He just had to loft up the good ones, and his receivers, unfortunately, unlike Miami's, came down with them, and that was the difference. Buffalo had the big plays where Miami just didn't. And now Buffalo's in the driver's seat. They go to Bowling Green next week. Miami gets to play against Ohio next week, which will be a fun rivalry battle between those two. But Buffalo and Kent State are your two 2-0 teams in the MAC East. Kent State, they beat Eastern to start the season off 27-23, and then they beat Bowling Green on Tuesday night 62-24. Buffalo, they beat NIU 49-30 last week, and against Miami again on Tuesday 42-10. Much bigger blowout than a lot of people expected. That is some consistency that I'm buying in. Unlike Miami's consistency that I wasn't so sure I should buy in against Ball State. I think there's something serious here with Buffalo. I don't think that Kyle Van Treese is going to have 4 touchdown passing performances every week. I don't think he's going to have 350 passing yards every week. I think he's going to throw to Antonio Nunn a bunch still. I still think he's going to try to throw it around outside of him. I still think his other receivers are still going to try to make some good plays like they did against Miami. Like, with that sort of consistency, I don't know. But that's possible if Buffalo's defense continues to play tough. And if they get more interceptions and more turnovers than what they did against Miami, I don't think they got any. Let me check. They had 1 interception. Roy Baker, I think it was his first career interception, so good for him. Yeah, but for now, Buffalo is the new MAC East favorite, at least for me. Kent State's, they just put up 62 points against Bowling Green. Against Bowling Green, yes. But Kent State's a team that can keep scoring a lot of points. And Buffalo's the one team that's really good at not allowing that to happen. Can't wait to see if that happens. But that happens if, and only if, you mask up and wash your hands.